Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us for learning key signatures. This time we're going to be talking about the order of flats and how you can use that to create your own key signatures. It'll also help you read the key signatures a lot faster. When you were looking at the different key signatures in your music, did you ever notice a pattern? If you look at the first three flats in the key on the left and compare it with the first three flats, the key on the right, you will notice that even though the key signatures on the right have more flats, the first three are identical to the first three on the left. I have good news. Actually, it will always be in the same order. It doesn't matter if you're a treble clef reader or a bass clef reader. It doesn't matter how many flats there are, and it doesn't really matter the style of the music because the flats are always in the same order. So it helps to memorize them. So what is that order again? B, E, A, D, G, C, and F. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. You might want to pause the video and take a moment to memorize that. Here are the rules when we are creating our own key signatures. The order is always read from left to right. That can be a little bit confusing because when we're talking about our staff lines, we read from low to high, but when we're talking about the order of flats, we read them from left to right. The center of the flat, the little B, goes on the center of the line or the space, and that way it's easier to read. The whole key signature is found at the beginning of the piece of music, and it lasts for the entire piece of music until there is something like a key change or an accidental that modifies it. The flats apply to notes in all octaves. And that basically means that if there is a B flat in the key signature, you won't have any B naturals at all, even if it's a lower version than the key signature has. So if there's a B flat in the key signature, low B will also be B flat. Middle B and high B will also be B flat. In fact, all of the Bs will be flat. There is an exception. I hinted at this earlier. Accidentals. If there is an accidental, it actually defeats the key signature in terms of priority. So with this piece of music here, on the left side, you can see that the key signature says B flat and E flat. But when you get to the word early, there's actually an E natural. So that natural would cancel out that key signature E flat, but only for the remainder of the measure. So if for some reason the word proudly contained an E, that would be flat again, even though there was a natural for early. So as soon as the measure ends, go back to what the key signature says instead of what the accidental says. These red circles show you that the key signature is on the left and the accidental is on the right. Since the flats have to be in order from left to right, there's an example here. The key signature on the left is correct and the key signature on the right is incorrect. Even though they're the same four flats, B, E, A, and D, the one on the left has them in the correct order. The center of the flat goes in the center of the line or the space. The key signature on the left is correct. The key signature on the right is incorrect. If you look at the third flat in the key signature on the right, you'll notice that you can't really tell if it is an A flat or a G flat. It's not really clear. Same with the second flat on the right. You can't tell if it's an F or an E. The first flat has something seriously wrong with it. It's not clear at all where that one's supposed to go. The flats also have to be written in the correct octave, even though they apply to all octaves. The key signature on the left is correct, where the one on the right has flats that are either too low or they're too high. The easy way to remember where the flats are supposed to go in the treble clef is that you want to put them nearest to the center line. So if you're trying to decide whether it's supposed to be a high B or a low B, ask yourself, well, which one's closer to the middle? And middle B is where the flat is supposed to go. Take a second to study the correct way, because writing it in the wrong octave would make your key signature incorrect. Here's another example in the bass clef this time. It's a similar rule in that most of the correct flats are generally in the middle, but there are two exceptions. The blue oval demonstrates low G flat and low F flat, which are actually supposed to be written that low for some reason. This is frustrating for beginning music readers as well as myself, because I wish that they would have put them closer to the center instead of all the way down there. However, it is still the correct way on the left, so you might want to take a second to memorize that. Memorize the order of flats. Here's a diagram that shows you each of them. And if you're finding it difficult to remember all these weird 7 letters, I encourage you to come up with a silly saying. I have a picture here of several different green beads because I believe that it is easiest to remember it as bead green color family. BEADGCF. Again, that's the word bead, green, color, family. If you prefer to come up with your own mnemonic device, that's okay too. Maybe something silly like be early and do go catch fish or something like that. You're allowed to come up with whatever words you want as long as you memorize them. Let's practice that. Look at number 1. Number 1 has 1 flat. What flat is it? B flat. Number 2 has 2 flats. Which flats are they? B flat and E flat. Number 3 has a lot of flats. There's 3 of them. So how am I going to keep them straight? Instead of figuring out that they are B, E, and A, you can just remember the first 3 letters of the word bead. Number 4 has 4 flats, and that one's easy. B-E-A-D spells the word bead. See how this is much faster than figuring out every individual line and every individual space? Number 5, bead green, B-E-A-D-G. All of those 5 letters will be flat. Number 6, bead green color, B-E-A-D-G-C. And lastly, number 7, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, F flat, or bead green color family. Let's reflect on memorizing the order of flats. As a music reader, what benefit is there to having the order of flats memorized instead of looking at each individual line in each individual space? How can you use the order of flats if you're not the one reading the music? What if you could create something with a key signature? I always find it the best way if you draw all 7 flats in order and then come back to this video to see if you drew them in the right place. Lastly, I challenge you with a prediction. Can you guess what order the sharps are going to be in? There are no right or wrong answers. We're just making a prediction. Good luck with that. Congratulations, you've now memorized the order of flats. I hope you have an absolutely fabulous day.